welcome everybody. I'm going to share my screen. We have a presentation for you today.
Welcome everyone.
All right, so we're working on this. We're pretty good at this, but we have a few technical things. Anyway, hello everybody, welcome. We know we can't hear you today because we're very excited about this presentation. I'm Kim Kent, and you see Diane McMillen.
Hi everyone.
I'm the flashy one. She's the grounded, smart one. But together, we are the founders of Color Me Healthy. We also happen to be facilitators that are certified for True Colors International. So today we're going to talk about True Colors, the motto of which is valuing differences, creating unity. And we're calling this Communication Rescue. It's our hope that you get some value of this, particularly in these interesting times. Special note, we have 4 great prizes that we're going to be drawing for at the end of the session today. They are online True Colors assessment. You go online, the winners will, and then receive a 24-page report all about you. It's pretty special. If you're interested in being in the prize drawing, just put your name in the chat section. We'll make sure you get in. Additionally, we have some follow-up material that we'll also be able to send. So we're excited to be able to offer that to you as well. We're going to do something pretty different. We are going to do for the first time an instant poll. So we need your participation. So all we need to know, there's 4 questions. You're going to answer the questions, and Lewis is going to give us the instant results. So Lewis, take it away with the poll.
That's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful. You with the silence. Don't be discouraged.
Pretty simple questions, right, guys?
It's hard to take courage in a world full of people. You can decide on it. The darkness inside you makes you feel so small. And see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors.
Lewis, do we have some results yet?
People are still answering.
Okay, take your time, everybody. This is a fun part. At least we have good music.
Yeah.
We'll give it 30 seconds.
Yes.
Just call me up because you know I'll be there and see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors. That's why I love
Thumbs up.
Are we getting, oh, we're good.
Wow, okay. 62%. Okay.
Orientation.
Only 2 people have not done the True Colors, okay? And then let's see, we can scroll to see the rest of the results. We have our people who are the primary colors. Oh, Lewis, this is just, we're showing the questions 1 and 2. Are we able to see 3 and 4 also?
There we go.
Yeah, you should be able to just scroll down on your computer.
Okay, well, you know, a little operator error here. Oh, I see it. Okay. Oh, okay. Wow, it's kind of evenly split.
Pretty.
All right. Fantastic. Oh, the lowest colors. Wow. Okay. Some of you don't know that. Well, that's awesome. So we did that because we kind of wanted to know, you know, who was with us. And this just fascinating. So now I got to get my screen working again. How do I do that, Lewis? Because it seems to be stuck.
Do you need me to stop sharing?
Yeah, you stop sharing and then I can go for it. Thanks. All right, so you did all those questions. We appreciate it so much. Now, for those of you who answered that you've never done your true colors before, if you put your name in the chat section, you are going to get a free book and we will send you a book.
Great. Okay, so the main reason we just wanted to kind of get a feel for who was in our audience today, so thank you for doing that. We're really looking at true colors helping, especially in these times, as a review for some, and then for others, maybe an orientation you may not remember or you may not have gone into it as much. So today we're going to review the basics, and we're really excited because we think true colors is a tool that can help you live your best life. And that's so important right now. So the whole point of the true colors is, you know, not getting you out of your comfort zone, not putting you in a box, but we want to remember and recognize that everyone has unique strengths, and we want to highlight those for you again today. So hopefully this will help you see more clearly about yourself again, help you understand others that you might be sequestered with right now, more time, and provide ways that you can learn more or maybe refresh yourself about what you do know about yourself already.
Okay, wow. Does your family look like this? Beautiful smiles, communicating. Do you find that some people are just easier to communicate with others and some people perhaps it's not? If your family looks like this and all the people that you're sheltered with, this is what it looks like, well, you're just among the lucky ones. Or do you have some moments like this? Can y'all relate to that? Sometimes there are people that are harder to communicate with, or it's just frustrating communicating with them. So we're hoping that by reviewing your true colors or even being introduced to them, it will give you some tools to help understand how other people think so we can go forward and really learn more about each other.
So today we wanted to talk a little bit about the true colors for a few that are out there that have not done it. It's a personality assessment. We get really excited about it because we feel like it's one of those tools that is sticky and people tend to remember it more, but really it's a personality assessment. It's based on Myers-Briggs, but it helps people recognize differences and understand more about others. And we also know that we're all a spectrum, and some spectrums of our colors, orange, gold, green, and blue, kind of flow in and out. But it's definitely proven with all the science behind this, and making it fun is one thing, but there really is science. We didn't make it up. We always like to say that. But one of the things that happens is that your communication preference is definitely there. So you might be orange green or someone might be gold blue, but you definitely have that preference. And what we know from colorizing and Team Horner since 2012 as the foundation for Color Me Healthy is that when people feel valued and supported and appreciated, they do their best work and they have their best relationships.
And just as to reiterate what Diane was saying, that we really are a blend of the colors. So you might identify with something from each color, and that's okay. But as she also mentioned, we primarily have some traits in our first two colors that seem to lead our thinking the most. So we're going to review some of the traits, and orange gets to be first. Oh, sorry, I forgot this cute screen, what Diane was saying.
Well, yeah, and for some of you with this new online assessment tool, which is fabulous, but it's also a precursor to the interactive learning that we get in a workshop that's usually a couple of hours. So we just wanted to show you a few of the fun pictures that we've experienced, and there is a lot of learning that happens during the workshops.
It really helps when you have the group setting, and we had a lot of fun pulling some of these pictures out and remembering the group interaction is so good. But as I was saying, because I'm impulsive, might be an orange, orange gets to be first. We're going to review orange first. Orange has three main traits that come up most frequently: freedom, action, and adventure. Some of the attributes that oranges typically identify with, they're big risk takers, like to test those limits, quick-witted, master negotiator. You see some of them here. High need for mobility, and we love that saying, just do it. Pushing the boundaries, not particularly conformist, likes competition and tangible rewards, impulsive, spontaneous, and likes immediate response from people, and really prefers a more informal environment versus a formal setting, are good at troubleshooting, and a good motto is play, then work.
Then we have the gold personality, and the words that you typically see are responsible, dependable, organized. We also know that the gold personality is very organized and loves the checklist. So if you see someone making a checklist and then adding to it all the time, that's a good indication that you're talking with someone that has a gold preference. And some of the traits that you see and attributes, they always are prepared. Gold is super prepared, loves to plan, very detail-oriented, service-oriented. Family is super important, as well as traditions. Very trustworthy, helpful, organized, we talked about. A strong work ethic, prefers security over the risk-taking, very punctual, always on time, values order and the status quo. That's a challenge right now in our times. Dutiful, loyal. There's a right way to do everything. So policies, procedures, and rules are going to be the highlight of someone that has that gold personality. And they're really at ease in formal environments, but they work first and then they play.
Okay, let's look at the green personality. I hope this is a good reminder for all of you. These are the traits that come out most for the green personality: analytical, intellectual, and visionary. One of the things that you'll often hear green say is, I'll think about it. They need time to marinate and think about things. Knowledge is key, asking that why question a lot. They are theoretical idea people, sometimes very philosophical, and they're very complex to others, although sometimes they don't think of themselves as complex. Often are perfectionists, they're standard setters, they're the visionaries and the futurists. And they can never have enough knowledge, they can never know enough. And they also appear to be cool, calm, and collected. So their thinking is not always in the mainstream. Sometimes their thinking is abstract, conceptual, they're very global in their thoughts, and they have a great need for independence and privacy. They have not privacy, excuse me, private time. It's more like private time. And they like to explore all assets in decision-making. Typically, once they've explored it, they make decisions pretty quick. They also have a logical approach in their relationships. And their saying is, work is play and play is work. Do you know any greens in your world? I might.
Yeah, that was the lowest, the palest color with our group today too. And then we have the blues. The key words for blue is authentic, empathetic, passionate. We also right now in our times to keep in mind that we have a lot of blue personality in our healthcare system, our caregivers, people doing service industries and nonprofits. And we all know what's happening in that world. So if we look at some of the blue attributes, mediators, super optimistic, caretakers, very imaginative, tend to be the peacemakers. They love the harmony, very true romantics, cause-oriented. That's why we mentioned nonprofits. Need to feel special, always has a kind word no matter what's happening. Very strong sense of spirituality, very sensitive to the needs of others. Nurturers, which goes along with the medical field, the caregivers. Harmonious, not so keen about the conflict piece. Very relationship-centered, motivates and encourages others, and looks for the meaning and significance, which is really important. And then very cooperative, not competitive, so not like the orange trait so much. And the motto is work and play together in harmony, of course. So
I hope that was a good review of some of the beautiful positive traits of each color, and you saw yourself in a little bit of each of those. It's a good reminder, and we love true colors in our company culture, and we love doing more to bring it back to our memory so we can use it. But in addition to that, there are stressors for each color. And would you agree that we're in a time that stress is a little different than it normally is? So we're going to review what is typical for stressing oranges, and we're going to see how it might relate to these particular times. So orange is going to be first again. So oranges, it might be stressful to have too much responsibility, to have imposed structure or too many deadlines, repetition, routine, being stuck at a desk, I'm ready to get up, and lack of variety or options, and too many rules, regulations, and details. Well, there's a lot of rules right now.
Right.
And the oranges might find that stressful. And there's a lot of imposed structure. Yes, Diane?
No, I was going to ask you, as an orange, what are some of the stressors that you're highlighting with right now for you?
Well, just these rules and not being able to go places and not having the lack of mobility and not being able to be out and about, that is very stressful for me. So I'm coping because we all have to, but it's definitely a factor. So moving on from the orange, let's look at the blues. What kind of stressors might affect the blue right now? Broken promises, talking behind one's back, those are things that would be normal in a regular time, but conflict, insincerity, rejection, and lying, very stressful for blues. The lack of social contacts, wow, talk about stressful right now. Blues are all about the people. And Diane's, her primary is blue, mine's secondary blue, so we relate to this a lot. And also placing the system before people. Would you agree, Diane?
Yeah, definitely. And I think, you know, one of the things when we work in our preference color, so if it's blue, that's the color that we're naturally shining brightest with. But when we get stressed, our colors really start to fade. So these are definitely for the blue, something that's happening right now.
Exactly. And how about the gold? Wow, incomplete directions, tasks, disorganization, and lack of structure. This could be a time when everything has changed, and golds are not big on constant changes. And this is something that in these times that could be very, very sensitive for golds, because things are different, they're disorganized, the structures has changed, and things are constantly moving. And so I can see how someone who is a high gold would find that very difficult.
Definitely. And I think of all the colors, gold has the hardest time changing. So it's just something to be aware of. It's also a positive that golds tend to be very organized, so they can be the ones to regroup and actually put some new policies and procedures and order into our life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And let's look at the things that might stress out someone who's a primary green. Lack of independence and control. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm thinking our green friends are thinking, whoa, this is a time when they're not able to be as in control of lives that they normally would be. Incompetence of others really drives them crazy. And the inability to use or display their knowledge or their intellect, which for most cases people could do even in these times. Small talk and social functions. Oh, some of the greens might be just fine that we're not having to go to so many social functions. That's okay. And then the other thing, they don't like subjective judgment and don't really like emotional outbursts. They're not wanting to see emotional when decision-making is and when you're trying to be logical. So they don't like illogic. So I think this could be a stressful time for greens too. What about you, Diane?
Yeah, I think with the green personality, I think with, you know, we need the data, right? So the greens are all about data, love data, they're great at it. But right now we have so much conflicting data that can be super stressful and something to be aware of for the greens in your life.
And the gold too, because the data seems to be changing all the time. And
Right.
So you can see how this particular time in our world could be problematic. So I love these characters. I don't know if you can see them all from the Muppets representing each of our colors. And so as we talked about this, hopefully you've kind of thought about what true color you identify with, or remembering back when you did your colors. And also, hopefully you're thinking of the traits in these and some of the people you are sheltering with and what kind of traits they're exhibiting. So maybe you can be more sensitive to how they're thinking and what stresses them out, because it could be different than what stresses you out. But that's not the end of the story. There's another factor when we're dealing with our true colors that puts comes into play a lot. So Diane, tell us about that.
Yeah, the other piece that we talk about in our workshops most of the time is introvert extrovert. We put a picture of the kids here too, because this applies to the kids that are homeschooling and stuck at home. And you might have some children that are displaying different ways of getting their energy. And this is all about where we get our energy from. So as an extrovert, we typically get our energy from the outside world, activities, environments, love to go to concerts. None of that's happening right now. So that's something to be aware of. Also the introvert side, the flip side, typically we get our energy and restore our energy from more inward thinking. So, you know, being more quiet, reflective. You would think right now that would probably be a really fun thing or an appreciated thing with an introvert, but they're having to learn new ways to communicate. Even with Zoom can be difficult. And also we have the ambivert, which is a more fluid kind of a preference, and we have a blend of both. So sometimes you might need to get your energy from people, and sometimes you might need that alone time. The most funny, a great video to look up is Trey Kennedy, who's up in that top right-hand corner. Trey Kennedy, I think it's up to 1 million hits. Last week it was 600,000. But just Google Trey Kennedy with introvert extrovert, and it's hilarious. And it so shows what's happening right now with our introverts and extroverts.
So keeping that in mind as we go forward, and we're still sheltering for a while, but even as we go forward in our regular lives, it's so great to keep that in mind, that people are different with how they view the world in the introvert and extrovert eyes. So that is pretty much it for us. We only wanted to give you a little taste, but again, we want you to make sure you put in the chat if you want to be in on the drawing to receive one of 4 online assessments. We have a batch of handouts to give you that do include the introvert extrovert quiz. And for anybody who's new and you'd like to request a True Colors book, please put that in the chat as well. So we are so happy you joined us. We hope you got a little something out of it. And Diane, what's your last thought?
No, thank you so much. And just be sure to let your true colors shine, and don't think negative about somebody that might be different. It's just a reminder. So we all need to shine bright right now in these times. So thank you, everyone.